All of you, welcome back. So we'll start off with some of the questions that have been asked in the examination. One question that was asked is this. This was asked in 2011 in your UPSC CSC examination. The difference between comet and asteroid. Okay, first one, asteroids are small rocky planetoids. Planetoids are small planets. Okay, planetoids are small planets. So asteroids are small rocky planetoids, while the comets are from the frozen gases held together by rocky and metallic minerals. Asteroids are mostly found between the orbits of Jupiter and Mars, while comets are found mostly between Venus and Mercury. Comets show a perceptible glowing tail, while asteroids do not. Which of the following statements above are correct? Nobody calls the answer. सबके आंसर मिस हो जाएंगे. How many for A? How many for A? How many for B? Keep your hands up. How many for C? How many for D? आपने आंसर नहीं किया. You've not answered. So nobody for A, but we have for B, C and D. What is your answer? C, B, B, C. Okay, B. Fine. So those who say A to koi nahi keh raha. So many of you are saying B. So you say that yes, they are smaller rocky planetoids, while comets are formed from the frozen gases held together. Asteroids are found first. Many who said C? Somebody said C. Okay, so you think one is incorrect. Why one is incorrect? They are small planetoids means small lump of rocks. ठीक है. जब प्लैनेट्स बने थे उसके पहले जो छोटे छोटे कण थे, the small rocky substance, they were called as planetoids. Before the planets came, the small rocky, they were called as planetoids. ठीक है. So they are small rocky planetoids. The pre-stage of planet is called as planetoid, right? So they are these pre-stage of planets. So again you want to keep it C, you want to change. So what is the issue? Why is one wrong? आपने भी C बोला, बताओ. Why is one wrong? नहीं, before. Who said C? There were three people. No? हाँ, आपने बोला. Planetoid only. Planetoid basically the initial stage of planet. ठीक है. So asteroids are the initial stage. जैसे planetoids थे, उसी initial stage में ही asteroid है. So that statement is correct. That they are small rocky planetoids. They have not yet formed planet. So they are small rocky planetoids, while comets are frozen gases held together by rock and metallic material. This is a correct statement. So those who say C, one is correct. ठीक है. उसको planetoid के चक्कर में उसको वो मत करो. ठीक है. Don't discard it just because you think planetoid is that because of the word planetoid. Some of you said D. Nobody said A, said D. You said D. One more. You also said D. No. You said D. So 2 is correct. That asteroids are found between Jupiter and Mars, yes. While comets are found mostly between Venus and Mercury. No, we did not study that. Comets are where? Towards the Kuiper belt. So 2 is wrong. So this goes wrong. So 2 goes wrong, this goes wrong. The answer is 1 and 3. ठीक है. Yes, comets they have a perceptible tail, while asteroids they do not have the tail. हाँ बताएं please. Because the issue is solar system as or universe as a thing is still an unexplored one. So therefore mostly. As of now we know that yes, they are found between Mars and Jupiter. But you never know कि कैसा होगा. ठीक है. हमने टर्म तो यही दिया हुआ है. वो all बोलेंगे भी नहीं. They will say mostly only. They will not give too drastic a statement to be there. But in either case, this one is wrong. This one is. You can go for yes, because अभी तक we've not seen any asteroid beyond this one, beyond Mars and Jupiter. ठीक है. All of you clear? Can I move on? The answer is what? The answer is 1 and 3 only. Okay, 2 is wrong, 1 and 3 only. Okay, moving on here. This is the question. Nobody calls out the answer. Try to solve the question. 2012, a person stood alone on a desert dark night and wanted to reach his village, which was situated 5 kilometers east to the point where he was standing. He had no instruments to find the direction, but he located the pole star. The most convenient way now to reach the village is to walk in the direction facing the pole star, opposite pole star, keeping the pole star to the right. Nobody calls the answer. Keeping the pole star to the right, to keeping the pole star to the left. अरे आंसर नहीं बोलना है, हाथ क्यों उठा रहे हो? Nobody says the answer. I will ask for poll. I will take everybody's poll. All of you, none? Can I move on? How many for A? How many for B? How many for C? How many for D? You two have not answered. आप भी answer दें please. You two have not answered. समझ नहीं आया question. What went wrong? Not able to understand the question. The question is, a person is standing alone in the desert night and wanted to reach his village, which is 5 kilometers east. So he is standing there. All he knows is my village is 5 kilometers east. He locates pole star. He locates pole star. So north, south, west and east. So he is standing here. Village is 5 kilometers east. He locates pole star. What should he do? Should he walk towards the pole star? Should he walk away from pole star? Should he keep the pole star to the right, or should he keep the pole star to the left? Sir? Left. Left. अब तो लेफ्ट ही बोलना पड़ेगा. जो दो लोग साथ थे वो उन्होंने भी लेफ्ट बोल दिया. All of you said left, right? We'll keep the pole star to the left. Suppose I'm standing here. This is that. Where is my village? Right? This is pole star. I could spot the pole star. Okay? So if I walk in the this is pole star. Therefore, this becomes north. This becomes east. This becomes west. You become south. So if I walk in the direction of pole star, I'm going towards north. If I walk opposite from the pole star, I'm going towards south. If I keep the pole star to my right, I'm walking towards west. If I keep the pole star to my left, I'm walking towards east. समझ आ रहा है? So I've spotted. I can go anyways. I can turn around anyways. But I will keep the pole star to the left because I know that is to the east. तो इसमें क्या चाहिए था? Direction का sense चाहिए था. It was actually a CSAT question asked in GS paper. It is just a direction sense that was needing it. Right? All of you clear? You are the first class where I have not got the answer D. Otherwise, many of them either I get C or I get D. First class where I have not got the answer D. Though some of you might struggle with respect to question, but I have not got the answer D. So I'm happy about it. Fine. So moving on. Competition tough है Odisha में. Okay. So here, this is what you have for the first one. We'll touch upon the second topic. The second topic we'll move is the motions of the earth. Solar system. Acha nahi. Solar system mein we'll have to cover the theories about the formation of the solar system. Give the heading theories about the formation of the solar system. Acha, you know now which book to study. What books you have studied? NCERT is done. Okay. So we've done this Earth, our habitat. In case you want to read something from the topic that we have covered, you can read. Solar system is a part of your class 6 NCERT. The first chapter is solar system. So you can read chapter first, solar system, from class 6 NCERT, or the NCERT that I am covering today. The NCERT that I am covering is this, the fundamental of physical geography. Here also you have a chapter on solar system, chapter 2. So this one is chapter 1. What you do is, in case you have not read 6th class NCERT, read chapter 1 and today go back home and read chapter 2. Go back home, read chapter 2. Whatever doubts that you have, please come and ask tomorrow. ठीक है? After the class, between the break, whenever you feel, because 7:30 के पहले आप आओगे नहीं, will not come before 7:30. So at least ask, go back home. This is the homework that you have today. Chapter 1, class 6 NCERT. Chapter 2, class 11th NCERT. Right? 6th is a very basic NCERT. 6th, 7th is also very basic. Rather, I should say till 10th class, the NCERTs are very basic. They're very basic NCERT. Whenever in all the subjects you see, from class 6 to 10th, the NCERTs are very basic. When you move to class 11th, then the NCERT standards changes. Okay, because it's like class 6 to 10th is the school, 11th it's specialization. Because it is specialization, NCERTs go deep. So do this, do that homework. What you are expected to read is, for your geography per se, is class 6 to class 11th. I generally don't tell to read class 12th NCERT human geography, because the data is very, very old here. It's a very old data. So I generally don't tell students to read this NCERT. Rather than this, good NCERT is your Tamil Nadu textbook. It's a good NCERT. Tamil Nadu textbook, the human geography, they have new data, they have new insights. So that is much more better than reading this NCERT. Is it fine? So this is about, we'll start off with, okay, two things that you can, one thing that you should always try to have as a student of geography is your atlas. Which atlas do you have? Do you have any atlas? How many you have Orient? 4. How many of you have Oxford? Oxford is a better one. Oxford is a good atlas. It is a better one. This one is much more better than this. बहुत सारी places नहीं दिखती हैं इसमें in your Orient Black Swan. So Oxford is a better one. I'm not telling you to buy, but then in case you get some from someone, you keep it. Otherwise, it's fine. You can have Oxford or at anyone. Okay, we've done what is geography. Moving on. We've also seen geography as a home of man. Why you study geography? You study about lithosphere, the landscape. You study about the water. You study about the atmosphere. You study about the human geography, demography, planning, geopolitics, economic geography. You all study this. Okay? It is concerned about man-environment relation, how man's impact environment, how environment impacts man. Geography cannot, it is not a subject which is only studying landforms. हमें लगता है geography is about landforms. We feel geography is about this thing, lithosphere. It is not just about lithosphere. It is also about climate. It is also about ocean. It is also about resources. It is about the population. Therefore, it has link with society also. The population characteristics, the sex ratio, you talk about demography, like first demographic dividend, second demographic dividend. ये terms सुने? Have you heard about first demographic dividend, second demographic dividend, sex ratio? ये terms, have you heard about these terms? ठीक है, don't worry, we'll study them as we proceed for geography. First demographic dividend is you all, the youth. There's a lot of expectation from you, right? To grow the country, to improve the GDP of the country. The first demographic dividend means fayda. You know, you get the money, you get growth, dividend, right? You get that dividend in what? You get dividend in debentures. Debentures पे मिलता है? नहीं, shares पे मिलता है, right? In the shares you get dividend, commerce. In the shares you get the dividend. Dividend means the interest rate, the benefit that we have. Demographic dividend is the demography, the younger population contributing to the growth. See, how do you contribute to growth? How do you contribute to growth? By working. You are working population by working. Anything else? After working, what do you do? Then you go to office, then what do you do? Then you consume. Swiggy, Zomato. Okay? So a youth population, younger population is a consumer population. They consume, and because they consume, many of them get, because you consume, many of them us get job. Okay? So you are consuming population. You are earning. We are earning population. Because we earn, we try to spend. So we contribute to the GDP. The older population, they don't contribute much to GDP. Why? Because they save. They don't work. Retirement age ke baad, they can't work. They don't work. So they don't contribute to the economic development as much as the younger population. Therefore what? It is called as demographic dividend. But a younger population can contribute only when it is skilled, when it is employed. If you don't employ them and if you don't provide them skill, and when it is healthy, when it is skilled, when it has employment, only then the younger population can contribute. So as to tap the demographic dividend, a population should be healthy, population should be skilled, and population should be employed. Otherwise you have this, no, पकोड़े बेच लेना, ठीक है. So पकोड़े बेच के भी हम कमा सकते हैं, कमाने के लिए तो कैसे भी कमा सकते हैं, right? So it's like that. But in India, what is the problem? In India, there's lack of skill. Engineering, 70% of the engineers are unemployed. Not my stat. Report says 70% of engineers are unemployed. They have to be reskilled when they join a company. They will have to be reskilled. There have been some vocational training programs, so they are unemployed. So problem with us is there is lack of skills. Problem with us is lack of job. What is the female labor force participation rate? For that matter, what is the female, female contribution or female contribution in the higher education? How many female judges? How many female CEOs? The glass ceiling effect. Okay? The females are not promoted beyond a particular promotion towards the side, and that's reality. Ab dekho na, how many females are in parliament, how many females are in judiciary. So that aspect of geography coincides with your society. तो society से कैसे link है geography का, ठीक है. तो what do you study? You study about the lithosphere. That is what you thought geography is. Plateaus, plain and mountains. No, that is not geography alone. It is also about the climate. It is also about the ocean. It is also about the environment related aspect. It is also about the demography. It is also about geopolitics. Geography is about geopolitics. There was a question that was asked in your mains examination. South China Sea is assuming geopolitical significance. Why? Anybody, why? Why is South China Sea assuming geopolitical significance? Because what is strategic location? So what is so special about it? Indian Ocean is also at the confluence. One is the trade routes. If you look at Japan, majority of the trade of Japan passes through South China Sea. One. Second, the geographical angle, the strategic angle, trade passes. The one. There are resources. I actually spelled that. There are resources like there are a lot of fishes, and it is said that South China Sea has oil which is similar to that of Gulf of Mexico. जितना Gulf of Mexico में oil है, similar oil reserves are there in South China Sea. So what people want? So what China wants? मेरा है. It's mine. 9- line. Got 9- line and said, okay, how can a nation do that? Is there no law that governs ocean? Is there no? When you talk about an inch of land you will fight. There will be wars. What about the oceans? Can't we govern oceans? We have. Do we have some law? What law do you have? UN clause. We have a law. United Nations Convention Laws of the Sea. United Nations Convention Laws of the Sea. But what did China do? See. What does UNCLOS do? UNCLOS can demarcate the ocean based on the land. This is the land. This land belongs to this country. This land belongs to, this part belongs to this country. This land belongs to this country. But what if the island is disputed? If the island itself is disputed, how will the UNCLOS demarcate the boundary? China is saying this is my island. Because this is my island, the water near it is mine. The island itself is disputed. So UNCLOS is failing there. Okay. What you study in geography is not just about these, but you also study about geopolitics. The link is to economic resources, right? Economic resources, mineral resources, fisheries, that is all your geography. So geography teaches you what? It is generally said कि geography का अपना कोई माई बाप नहीं है. मतलब geography does not have a subject of its own. Geography takes everything from everybody. It takes from meteorology, it will take climate studies. From ocean studies, it will take oceanography. From economics, it will take economic geography. From politics, it will take political geography. From geology, it will take the landscape aspects. So it does not have a It does not have a subject of its own. This is what? This is your class 11th first chapter. If you look at class 11th first chapter, this is what your class 11th first chapter talks about. There is a circle that is given. बीच में geography है और बाकी बहुत बड़ा. There is a bigger circle which says meteorology से it will take weather. From ocean it will take oceanography. From economic it will take economic geography. From minerals studies it will take mineral resources. Okay, so this is what your geography. But then what does geography teach? If geography does not have a subject of its own, what does geography teach? Geography teaches me. What is geography teaching me? Geography is teaching me interlinkage. If you want to sum up geography, what is geography? What is where, why, and so what? What is where, why, and so what? Why? What is Himalayas? Where is Himalayas? Why Himalayas are where they are? And what is the effect of it? That is what geography is. So there is no subject matter of its own. Himalaya it will take. Why it will take, where, what happened will it will take. It is just telling you interlinkages. It will tell you about the link of Himalayas with the climate. Does Himalaya has an impact on climate of India? What impact? It stops the cold Siberian winds. Winds from Siberia, the winds from Siberia are stopped by Himalayas. It stops the cold Siberian winds. So if this is your Siberia, the Himalayas, they stop the cold Siberian winds from entering into the part of India. Here, this is the Himalayas, it is stopping them. So Himalayas stop the cold Siberian wind. One. So Himalayas is affecting what? Himalayas affect the climate. Himalaya is a physical mountain that you think, it is affecting climate. Does Himalaya has any relation with the oceans? What?
Has the world's largest amount of glaciers, and I guess the used to affect the water flow.
ठीक है. Himalaya affects the water, not only affects the climate but also affects the water resource. How? It is called as what? Third pole now, right? Himalayas Hindu Kush belt is called as third pole. Why? Because it has lot of glaciers, nearly 7,000 glaciers. Baltoro, Baturo, Siachen, Aksai Chin. You know Siachen, Aksai Chin? That is also the glaciers. So Himalaya affects the water resources. Himalayas affects what? The climate. Himalaya also have ocean. It is said that Himalayas were once under the oceans. Himalayas are made up of what? Sedimentary rock of marine origin. The rocks are from what? Oceans. So Himalayas were, it is said, no, Himalayas were once under ocean probably because the rocks of Himalayas are oceanic in nature. So it has relation with the ocean. Does it have a relation with the environment? Yes. If you look at India, is India a tropical country? Majority tropical countries, garmi, ठीक है. But if you talk about temperate forest, do we have temperate forest? Temperate forest is something that is found in the cold region, right? Oak, eucalyptus. Do we have temperate forest along Himalayas? As you rise higher in the altitude, you will see that the temperature is changing. You will see that the climate is changing, and you have temperate forest also. So Himalayas is a landscape, has a link to the climate, has a link to the ocean, has link to water resource, has link to the has link to agriculture, has link to your forest, type of forest. This is what geography teaches you. Geography teaches you not simply one subject. Geography teaches you interlinkage. Does Himalayas have economic resource? We have what? We found lithium. We found oil and gas. In Himalayas, you have lot of oil and gas, but we can't exploit it because it is very economically unfeasible because it's a fragile zone. आपका बहुत पैसा लग जाता है. हिमालय में oil and gas है. India should not import oil and gas, but I can't tap Himalayas. I can't tap Himalayas because it is not economically feasible. I'll have to spend 3 rupees to get 1 rupees. So therefore, we don't exploit Himalayas for oil and gas. So this is what your geography teaches. Geography is not about simply about it is about what, where, why. What is where, why is this there, and what is the effect of it? What is the effect of these things? So we'll try to understand the linkages. I am starting off with solar system for a reason, because I want you to understand a theory called as nebular hypothesis. I want you to understand nebular hypothesis. यहाँ पे भी यही था first chapter जो है आपका class 11th NCERT. You have this. Geography is about climate. Geography is about geomorphology. Geography is about political geography. Why US? Why US is so developed? Because US had no war. Why US had no war? Entirely oceans. It is surrounded entirely by the oceans. Why Australia has not been part of wars? The World War I was land. The World War II was Europe and the land. If I talk about what is the problem with India and China, border disputes. US does not have border with any of the countries. पूरा पानी हमारा है, ठीक है? So that is, they don't have major wars. So geography is determining what? Geography is determining geomorphology. What you thought geography is, the mountains and others. Geography also affects, geography is about climate. Which wind? Why this wind? Cyclones. Okay, that is also about geography. Political geography. How geography influences, how location influence political dominance. It is also about cultural geography. You study the tribes. You study about tribes, you study about the race, you study about the biological features of the population. Can you see? If you talk about us here, we are in India, we are mixed race. We have fair complexion, we have dark complexion, we have curly hair, we have straight hair, we have different kind of eyes, we have different kind of jawline. Okay, everybody, so we are mixed race. These are the features of races, right? One race, let's say Mongoloids, they have epicanthic fold, they have smaller eyes, they are yellow in color, they have straight hair towards the northeastern region, Mongoloid race. There's Tibeto-Mongoloid towards your West Bengal, Didi, Tibeto-Mongoloid. The brown face, rounded face, small eyes, short, rounded face, brown eyes and the short eyes. That is Tibeto-Mongoloid. Paleo-Mongoloid is, so that is Paleo-Mongoloid. ठीक है, Paleo-Mongoloid, Tibeto-Mongoloid. Mongoloid में भी दो types हैं. One is towards the northeast, one is towards the West Bengal region. The RD Burban, right? You have these features. And look at us. Sometimes we have short eyes. Sometimes रात में बहुत छोटी हो जाती है, सुबह बहुत बड़ी हो जाती है. ठीक है. So it's like we are mixed race. Our forefathers were much more adventurous than we are. ठीक है. So they were adventurous. So they have been mixed race. You have, sometimes you have curly hair, sometimes some place you have curly hair, some place you have straight hair. हमें ही नहीं पता where we are, which race do we share our biological features with. So that also aspect, that in Andaman Nicobar, if you look at Andaman Nicobar, their people have their primitive traits with respect to the biology. ठीक है, Jarawa, Andamanese, Sentinelese people, they have primitive way of living. So that's about your cultural geography. You have historical geography, the history of earth, the history of a place. It is said that all history needs to be studied with geography. This was asked in your examination. Why did Panipat had 3 battles? Why did Panipat? What was so special about Panipat? That it witnessed 3 battles. So all history has to be studied with geography, and all geography has to be studied historically. If you want to study a location, today, I cannot study the location of Odisha without taking into consideration what happened during modern time. What is famous in Bhubaneswar? Dholagiri, Khandagiri caves. If I want to study the geography of this place, I need to know the history of that place. So all history can be studied geographically, and all geography can be studied historically. So this is about your historical geography. Then you know about resources, fishes, the mineral resource, the other building materials. That is about your economic geography. Social geography has relation with the cultural geography. In social geography, you study about the sex ratio. The first question that I generally ask in my class, or I look in my class, is the sex ratio of the class. How many females, how many males? So there is some, that's the first question I generally see, the disbalance between the number of females and the number of males. So patriarchy and other things also you study in your geography. Geography is about distribution, no? It is about distribution of the social section, female versus male. Okay? About soils, about the biogeography. Bio means biomes. Bio means biological living beings. Like you will have dense forest along equator. You will have less dense forest at the poles. The distribution of the biomes, that is also your geography. So ये first chapter, this is the first chapter of your class 11th NCERT. What you can do is you can skim through the chapter. Just go through the chapter once. That is not the chapter from which questions will come. But why is it given? It is a class 11th NCERT. It was supposed for those who want to take specialization, for them to understand what is geography, because up to 10th unki geography alag thi, up to now from 11 they will have different. For UPSC, I don't expect that from chapter 1 of class 11 they will ask question, or for your state services also, but chapter 2 is something that you will have to do. So this is the whole crux of chapter 1, that what is geography. Okay, moving on to chapter 2, we started off geological time scale, we'll do later. We've started off with the solar system. We'll start off with the first, the formation of universe. Give the heading, formation of universe. The formation of the universe. Okay. Now, before you write something, universe was actually formed around 14.5 billion years ago, where if before the formation of universe, it is said that everything was a part of a single tiny ball. There was a small tiny ball which encompassed the entire universe that we see today. So everything was a part of small tiny ball. This tiny ball had infinite density, had infinite mass under it. There was lot of mass. Everything that you see today was a part of a single tiny ball. A very tiny ball had infinite density, very, very dense, had infinite mass under it, and had very small volume. What happened? The tiny ball exploded. As the tiny ball exploded, it led to creation of matter. It led to creation of the substances around it. It led to creation of space. Space tab bana, mass tab aaya, the physics formula started coming. You have the formula of Newton coming, you have the formula of other things that started coming. Before that, it was one single tiny block. So one small tiny ball with infinite density, infinite mass, very low volume. It exploded. As it exploded, this led to creation of the fabric of space. It created on the fabric of space, you had matter coming. The matters were in the form of stars, galaxies. There was entire thing was coming up. So here, and you see that because of this expansion, the distance between galaxy is still expanding. The distance between galaxy is still increasing. So it was once together, matter came, and the distance between galaxies is still growing today. How do you know that the distance is growing? There is a phenomena called as red shift. So if you know the electromagnetic spectrum, okay, fine. If you know the electromagnetic spectrum, here you know the electromagnetic spectrum: gamma, X-ray, ultraviolet, visible, infrared, microwave, and radio waves. These are the electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic radiations. Basically, if I talk about, let me talk about this visible. You would know about visible light. Visible light is made up of what? Vibgyor, right? 7 colors making up your visible light. As you move from violet to red, what is happening? As you move from violet to red, the wavelength is increasing. The wavelength increases. The wavelength increases, right? And the frequency reduces. Okay. So what do happen is, it's like simple. If you want to understand that the galaxies are expanding, how do you know that the galaxies are expanding? Because there is a phenomena called as red shift. What is red shift? Red shift is nothing but the light that I can see from galaxies. If the distance increases, the movement is towards the red one. Okay. If the distance between, let's say, A point and B point, if I'm observer here, this A point was probably giving me indigo light, but now the distance has increased, so this is giving me probably what? It is probably giving me yellow light. It is not yet giving me yellow, but from indigo to yellow is pointing what? It is pointing that there is a red shift. It has not become red, but it is shifting towards red. So we call this as red shift. Not necessarily that the light will have to tell me a red light only. It can be violet to blue also, but I will call it as red shift. It can be indigo to green also. I'll call it as red shift. It's like something that we have observed. while you're standing, let's say, on a signal. There is an ambulance that is coming. As the ambulance is coming, you hear the loud noise. But as the ambulance goes, you hear the noise that is falling. This is called as Doppler effect. Because of the change in the distance, there was change in the sound wave. Similarly, because of the change in the distance, there can be change in the light wave. Light wave, the wavelength can increase. So if the wavelength is moving towards red, you call it as red shift. The red shift signifies what? That the distance between the galaxies is increasing. If the shift is towards violet, not necessarily it will become violet. If the shift is towards violet, you call this as blue shift, not the violet shift. Why? Because our eyes are more able to pursue the blue color. We can see the blue color more. So how do you know that the distance between galaxies is increasing? Because of a phenomenon called as red shift. Who observed this red shift? There was this person called as Hubble. The scientist Hubble, he saw this red shift, and then he also did some mathematical calculation, and he told us about the rate at which the galaxies are shifting. We call this as Hubble constant. What is Hubble constant? It tells the rate at which the galaxies are moving apart. Okay, the constant rate, or the rate at which they are moving. So this is about your universe. So what is universe? Everything was a part of one tiny ball. This one tiny ball with infinite density, infinite mass, low volume exploded. As it exploded, it created a fabric of space. As it created a fabric of space, it created matter, it created stars, it created galaxies. The expansion still continues. The expansion is witnessed by redshift. Okay. It will become red. उसके beyond क्या होगा? Then आपका फिर इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम ही चेंज होता रहेगा. रेड में भी आपकी बहुत ज्यादा वेवलेंथ्स आएंगी. ठीक है? No, that's not the saturation. And there is this also idea that probably it is not that it will keep on expanding. There can come a point then when the whole universe can become a part of again single tiny ball. Again then it can explode. Again then it can become a tiny ball. Again then it can explode. So this is called as pulsating theory of universe. So still we do not know that what will happen. Okay. So give the heading formation of universe. First point. The understanding about the formation of universe is still not clear. And it is incompletely understood. Right? There are many theories explaining the formation of universe. There are many theories explaining the formation of universe. Like, first, give the heading first and then write steady state theory. Steady state theory. Dash करके. It was proposed by Fred, F-R-E-D, Fred Hoyle, H-O-Y-L-E, Fred Hoyle. This is the name of a person. Okay? It was proposed by Fred Hoyle, right? The overall, what does the theory says? The theory says the overall size and mass of universe remains constant at any point of time. Okay? What is the theory saying? That there is a steady state. Steady state means it is not expanding, it is not contracting, and the overall mass will always remain the same. Okay? Right? The next point. The universe has no beginning. And no end. The universe has no beginning and no end. It says the rate, next point, the rate at which the new stars gets created, the rate at which new stars get created are same as the rate at which the old stars becomes unobservable. ठीक है, they become unobservable. Correct? So it is quite possible that you will see new stars, but it is also possible that you cannot see the old stars. So if it goes beyond red, it is quite possible that you can't see it because वो visible के बाहर चला गया. But the light emitted, but the thing that will be emitted would be infrared. So by infrared rays, you can calculate the expanding distance. You getting? That's the question that you asked. What will happen if it will go beyond red? It will become unobservable. You can't see it, but the infrared rays would be given. Microwave rays would be given. Okay. So this is what is your steady state saying? That it is a steady state. The rate at which the new stars are creating are the same rate at which the old star is getting unobservable. There is no beginning, there is no end, right? And the universe is always expanding. The universe keeps on expanding. Okay, that's what it says. It keeps on expanding. There's no beginning, there's no end. So it is not like Big Bang. Big Bang has a beginning, right? A small tiny ball. It is like, no, I'm observing this universe. Today I'm observing this universe. I'm observing this star, but the universe is expanding. So there are new stars that are getting created. What about the old stars? They are getting unobservable. So there's no beginning, there's no end. It is just expanding and expanding. Okay, right about the second one. The second one is because you are betting the older one are dying. The older one are dying. The size and mass is constant, but it is expanding. You are not able to watch them. This is becoming unobservable, right? Right. The second one, pulsating theory. The second one is pulsating theory. This was proposed by Arthur, A-R-T-H-U-R, Arthur Eddington, E-D-D-I-N-G-T-O-N, Arthur Eddington. Right, the next one. As per this theory, universe expands and contracts alternatively. Universe expands and contracts alternatively. Okay, there's expansion, there's contraction, expansion, contraction. Right, the next point. It expands because of explosion. It expands because of explosion and contracts because of gravitational pull. The next point, universe presently is in the phase of expansion. Universe presently is in the phase of expansion. Is it fine? So it is presently the phase of expansion. Right, the next one, Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory. First one, it was proposed by George Lemaitre, George George Lemaitre, Lemaitre, ITRE was proposed by George Lemaitre in 1927. ठीक है, nearly 100 years. Okay, nearly 100 years is about to pass. It's already 96 years. ठीक है, in 1927, right? According to this theory, 13.7 billion years ago, 13.7 billion years ago, the universe was an extremely compact, dense, extremely compact, dense, extremely compact, comma, dense, and hot singularity, 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 singularity. ब्रैकेट में लिखें what is singularity, right in bracket. Infinitely dense ball with infinite density, comma, infinite mass, and low volume, ठीक है. What is this theory saying? It's saying that at 13.7 billion years ago, everything was a part of one hot singularity, one single tiny ball. What is singularity? One single tiny ball. Tiny ball had what? Infinite mass, infinite density, and a very, very low volume. Then, right, what happened? There was no time, no space, and no matter. There was no time, no space, and no matter. Then the next one, 13.7 billion years ago, 13.7 billion years ago, a cosmic explosion happened called as Big Bang. A cosmic explosion happened called as Big Bang. Write the next one. After explosion, the tiny ball expanded in all direction. At extraordinary speed. Creating a fabric of space, and filled the fabric with energy and matter. The matter was scattered in the form of nebula. The matter was scattered in the form of nebula. ठीक है, क्या हो रहा है? सब everything is at the point at one single tiny ball. The tiny ball is expanding, creating a fabric of space. This fabric of space is filled with matter and energy, and the universe is doing what? The universe is still expanding. ठीक है, एक fabric of space बना, matter बना. The matter was expanded, and the matter was scattered in what form? The matter was scattered in the form of nebula. What is nebula? A cloud of dust and debris. ठीक है, so it was the thing that was happening. Now ये cloud में है, अभी लिखो. The universe is still expanding. The universe is still expanding. The universe is still expanding. As Hubble, Dr. Hubble, Hubble, Dr. Hubble in 1929 proposed that all the observable stars and galaxies are moving away from Earth. They are moving away from Earth. In bracket you can write the phenomena of redshift. The phenomena of the redshift. Okay. The rate of expansion of star, the rate of expansion of the star is referred to as Hubble constant. Hubble constant. ठीक है? All of you clear? This was about what? This was about the formation of the universe. Give the new heading: formation of solar system. Formation of solar system. Universe समझ आया? Big Bang. Formation of the solar system. Now there are various theories about the formation of solar system. We will not go into deep of all the theories. We will just understand one theory, that is the theory of the formation of the nebula hypothesis. We will just go for nebula hypothesis. बहुत सारी theory है जो आपके solar system को भी समझाते हैं. We will not go into too much detail of it. We will just understand nebula hypothesis. With this was given by what? This was given by Newton and Laplace. न्यूटन और लैप्लास ने दिया था, बस वही हम थ्योरी पढ़ेंगे. So give the heading formation of solar system. Give the heading the nebula hypothesis. Nebular, Nebular, nebular hypothesis. It mentions that there is a pre-existing nebula. It mentions that there is a pre-existing nebula and the formation, there is a pre-existing nebula and the formation of the solar system, इसको क्या हो गया? अच्छा, this is the reason. The formation of solar system began around 4.5 to 5 billion years ago. Next point, initially all the matter formed from the formation of universe, was scattered in the form of nebula. Was scattered in the form of nebula. ठीक है? Initially what is happening? Everything is scattered in the form of nebula. Everything comes in the form of nebula. यहाँ पे जितना भी सब कुछ है, everything is in the form of nebula here. But what happened over the time? Because listen, everything is in the form of nebula. Over the time, what is happening? There is a gravitational collapse that is happening. There is a gravity that is pulling the matter towards itself. This nebula throughout now this mass, they start having attraction, gravitational pull. As it starts having gravitational pull, in the solar system, 97 to 99% of the mass is in star. So star is collapsing under the gravitational collapse. It is forming the, there is star that is coming. What is happening to the planets? The planet is again, there is your cloud of gas and debris. It is also cooling, contrasting, gravitational collapse, and it is forming planet. Again here also there is debris, cloud, dust. They are coming together, cooling and forming the planets. So much of the mass is where? Much of the mass is towards sun. But then you have other clumps of the clouds forming the planets. तो जैसे स्टार बना है वैसे ही planets बने. The process is same. Nebula hypothesis, cooling, contracting, gravitational collapse. But what is the difference? The difference is with respect to the size of it. Sun is very, very massive. Planets are not as massive. Because sun is very massive, the star is very, very massive. What is it doing? It has a light and heat of its own. इतना massive है that there is, while it is collapsing, it emits heat, it emits light. The process is same. Gravitational pull, gravitational collapse, forming the star. The same thing. The gravitational pull, pulling up the dust and debris, forming smaller planetoids, and then over the time forming the planets. तो यही चीज हो रही है. They are coming up together. The dust, debris, rock things are coming up together because of gravitational pull. You have a planet that is coming. What is the difference? The difference is only with respect to the size of the nebula. Sun is very, very massive, and it is lot of pull is that is going there, and therefore it has a light and heat of its own. ठीक है. तो हम क्या देख रहे हैं? We are understanding the nebula hypothesis for the formation of solar system. I said it started somewhere around 4.5 billion years ago. Universe formed around 14.5 billion years ago, 13.5 billion years ago. But when are they coming up together? They are coming up together at around 4.5 to 5 billion years ago. Sun is formed at 5 billion years ago. Planet starts at 4.5 billion years ago. पहले sun बनता है, फिर आपके planets बनते हैं. Process क्या हो रहा है? Gravitational collapse, nebula coming up together, cooling, contracting, forming the planets, cooling, contracting, forming the suns. ठीक है? So we are writing that. Please write. The nebula in bracket, the huge cloud of gas and dust, ठीक है, bracket close, nebula, huge cloud of gas and dust, bracket close, began to contract inward due to its gravitational collapse. Majority of the mass formed the sun. Majority of the mass formed the sun. Full stop. Sun was surrounded by the disk of gas and dust. That eventually came together to form planets. Full stop. All the planets revolve around the sun on the same plane. Reveals the relationship with the same nebular disk. So what is happening? They are formed from the same nebular disk. It was the same nebular disk, and therefore what is happening? They will revolve around the same plane. The plane is almost same. This is the plane, this is the sun. All of them are rotating around the same plane. It's not like that you have Earth here, you have Mercury here, you have Saturn here, you have Jupiter, that they have the same plane. Why do you have the same plane? Because this is from the same nebular disk. It was the same nebular disk that cooled, contracted, collapsed, forming the planets. And much of the mass went where? Much of the mass went towards the sun. Okay. Right one. Achha, now something is getting cooled, something is collapsing, something is falling. What do you think? What will fall first? The dense material will fall inside, or the lightest material will fall inside? Right? It is this nebula. It has lot of gas, dust, debris. It is cooling. The dense material will fall inside. They will be a part of inside. So now if you look at Earth, the Earth is what? Earth is not one single rock. जो आप देख रहे हो ये अंदर तक नहीं है. Earth, firstly, let's say Earth is what? 6,400 kilometer radius. And if I look at this, if I take a slice, this is not one single rock. Is it one single rock? No. The Earth's interior is what? The Earth's interior is layered. There are layers. And where is the most dense rock? Towards core. Okay. So why is this happening? Because this was what? This was your nebula. The nebula cooled and contracted. What happened? The most dense went inside. Comparatively lighter one. This one remained outside. Comparatively lighter one remained outside. Furthermore, the lighter one, this one further remained the one. So what is happening? Earth's interior, is it one single rock? No, it is layered. Earth is not a monolith, and the most dense material is inside. Who proves that? Which hypothesis supports this? Nebular hypothesis supports what? The layered nature of the Earth. Nebula hypothesis supports that the most dense would be inside. ठीक है, तो ये लाइन लिख लें एक बार. The nebular hypothesis explains the layers of the Earth and explains why the density increases in the interior of the Earth. Why the density increases in the interior of the Earth. Is it fine? Now, this was about your solar system. About planets, dwarf planets, belts, the asteroid belt. ठीक है, about the tilted axis, about the pole star and the other questions जो पूछा हुआ है. ठीक है, सन के ऊपर कभी क्वेश्चन पूछा नहीं है. They have not asked any question on the layering of the sun, but they asked a question. UPSC asked a question on the solar flare. एक बार ये क्वेश्चन पूछा था. They have asked question. One question was the terms event horizon, the terms singularity represents what? That is what they had asked, and they had given MCQs. They have given options that it represents the formation of universe, it represents about the terrestrial planet. They have asked question like this. They've also asked question like Goldilocks zone. What is Goldilocks zone? तो किस पे question लिख लिया, terms लिख ले. The questions have been asked on. You should know the examination, therefore I am telling. The questions have been asked on one solar flare and application question. They had asked question on Goldilocks zone. In 2015. In 2015, they asked question on Goldilocks zone. They asked question on singularity. What does the term singularity mean? In 2017. In 2017, they asked a question on singularity. For solar flare, the question was asked in 2022. In 2022. Okay, this was the question that was asked. I don't know if you would have any idea about the answer, but still, थोड़ा try करके देखो. Just try it. What will happen? Will go wrong. Remember, when you go wrong, वो ज़्यादा याद रहता है. जब सही होते हैं वो याद नहीं रहता है. जीवन में ये गलती की थी, जब जब चेहरा देखोगे याद आएगा ये गलती की थी, ठीक है। आई चोज अ रॉन्ग पर्सन, आई चोज अ रॉन्ग फ्रेंड, आई चोज अ रॉन्ग, आई मेड अ रॉन्ग चॉइस, ठीक है। जब गलती करोगे याद रहेगा। तो देखो सोलर फ्लेयर, probably you don't know, but still try to eliminate, try to apply some logic from your side, ठीक है। solar flare, if a major solar storm reaches the earth, which of the following are the possible effects of the earth? Suppose a solar flare, you understand what is a solar flare? Charged solar particles, they are talking about that. If they reach the earth's surface, what would be the impact of that? The navigation system could fail, tsunami could occur at the equatorial regions, power grid could be damaged. Suppose charged particles are coming, intense auroras would occur on the much of earth. You don't know what is aurora? Don't know, no? पता है? How many of you don't know? How many of you know what is auroras? Heard of? What is it? Basically at the polar regions, there are bright lights, very bright lights you can see at the polar region. It happens because the earth's magnetic line, earth is a magnet, okay, the earth magnetic lines interact with the sun, and therefore you have auroras. Okay, why do you have auroras? Because earth magnetic line interacts with the charged particle from the sun, okay. So intense auroras could be occurred over much of the earth, okay. Forest fires could take place over much of the planet. Orbits of the satellite could be disturbed. The shortwave radio communication of the aircraft flying over the polar regions could be interrupted. ठीक है? नहीं पता ना? Much of you don't know. Many of you, see, it's a term you will get to know after you have learnt many things. You should know about tsunami. Anybody knows what is tsunami? What is tsunami? Rise of high waves in the ocean. Why does the water height? Basically, what is tsunami? It is a huge disturbance, a big disturbance on the ocean floor. Ocean floor gets disturbed. As the ocean floor gets disturbed, there is disturbance in the water. As there is disturbance in the water, the huge waves strike the coast. बहुत सारी waves होती हैं. The bigger, taller waves, they strike the coast. As it is striking the coast, right, it is called as tsunami. Why there is huge displacement of water? Anybody? Earthquakes. Generally earthquakes, landslides are there. Landslides, earthquake, you were saying something. Volcanoes are there. This causes, so suppose this is your, listen, this is your continent, this is your ocean floor, this is the ocean floor, right? On the ocean floor you have what? You have water level. So let's say this is the water level. This is ocean rocks, okay. Suppose there is huge displacement, something that went wrong, something, let's say landslide happened, some volcano happened here, some landslide happened. So what will happen? The water, they will go down and they will experience displacement. There is experiencing displacement. So what happens? There is some disturbance here. As this disturbance, the waves, they start going toward the continent, they rise like this. This is your tsunami. Tsunami hota kyun hai? Because there is some disturbance on the ocean floor. There is some displacement of the water. That is the main reason for tsunami. It has nothing to do with the solar flare. It has nothing to do with the solar flare. So if you know this much, अगर थोड़ा बहुत ये पता होगा tsunami क्या होती है, अगर वो पता होगा, तो you would at least eliminate one option. The option that could be eliminated was 2. And can you now look at the options? The answer is C. So you need not know many things. पहले elimination लगता था 2022 तक, till 2022. Then I would say this, you need not know many things, but I can't say that now. You need to know many things now. Okay, then elimination was actually applicable. I did not know anything, but I was knowing tsunami to nahi hoga. I was not giving paper, but I was solving the paper and I was like, yes, tsunami to nahi hoga. Why tsunami? What has to do with? And you could see the options. There were many things that could be done in the UPSC by elimination then. Now they know that everybody is becoming smart. So they have become smarter. So they are like, now you know what will they give? Which of the following pairs are correct? only 1, only 4, only 5, only 3, all of the above. ठीक है? Why is 5 wrong? The 5 is wrong because they are saying, can forest fire takes place? Yes, they can take place. Can it take place over much of the planet? That is to be seen. कि forest fire over much of the planet होगा पूरी इस पे. That is why this was considered an extreme statement. In any case, you could not solve by this. The only thing you could solve was your question number, your statement number 2. Because over much of the planet तो auroras के लिए भी बोल रहे हैं. But then it says it is correct. It says that is not incorrect. 4 it is saying is correct. The point is, tsunami से देखा था तब and tsunami से eliminate किया था तब. What you need to do, go back home is do 3 things. 1, read chapter 1 of class 6. This is the homework. I believe in giving homework. I can walk as much. You will have to walk. It is your career also. So you will have to walk. If you think यार homework मिला है, so you will have to get used to this. ठीक है? Go back home, read chapter 1 from class 6 NCERT. Read chapter 2 from class 11th NCERT. Don't read chapter 1. You can skip that for now. Read chapter 2 and ये इनका questions देख लेना. Goldilocks zone. Look at the question. 2015 वाला है. Look at the question of this one. Solar storm I showed you. Singularity wala question. Event horizon and singularity. What you have to do, you just have to go back home, type singularity, type event horizon, type 2017, type UPSC. The question will come in front of you. Okay? So type these keywords: singularity, event horizon, 2017, UPSC. The first website that will come, I will tell you that also. Test book will come. Okay? So that will come. So you can free का माल ले लो. ज़्यादा कुछ करना नहीं है. It's free. You just have to go that. It will take not more than 2 minutes for you to do this. The biggest challenge would be your class 11th NCERT chapter 2. ठीक है? That will be challenge for you. You will have to read that. Now, moving on. I'll start off with the motions of the earth. Give the heading, the motions of the earth. We'll start off with rotation. Let us complete rotation. The motions of the earth. First, the earth is involved into two basic movements. The earth is involved in two basic movements. One is the rotation. One is the rotation on its axis, rotation on the axis, and the other is rotation on the axis. It takes 24 hours. It takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. It takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. This is the first one. Okay? And the second movement that the earth is involved is revolution. Revolution around the sun. Revolution around the sun. Along with, just write, along with inclination, and polarity, What all this mean, I'll tell you. Okay, don't worry. So here, all of you understand rotation. This is the earth. You have a tilted axis. The earth rotates. Okay, west to east. There is rotation that is going on counterclockwise when seen from the north pole. It takes what? It takes nearly 24 hours to complete one rotation. So here, if it is, let's say, sun, this was place A. This place A will come to the same place. This point A will come to the same place within 24 hours. So what is happening? You have this thing. You have a line. You call this line as what? You call this line as the plane of illumination, right? Half of the earth is under sunlight. Half of the earth is not under sunlight. It is under darkness. So it is, if it is here in India, if it is day, what is there in US? It is still night, because that part is outside the inclination. After 12 hours, what will happen? India will have, let's say this is a, India will have night, US will have day. So this is how it is going. There's rotation that is going on. on the rotation is on the tilted axis. ठीक है, rotation is on the tilted axis. Now understand, not always you will have inclination like this, not always. ये rotation tilted axis पे, but जरूरी नहीं है. The circle of illumination, not necessarily the circle of illumination will always coincide with the tilted axis. It can coincide, it cannot coincide. The circle of illumination is a different thing, the tilted axis is a different thing. Suppose if the same thing here, I will just draw this again. Suppose here, if the circle of illumination coincides, if the circle of illumination coincide with the tilted axis, ठीक है, the circle of illumination coincides with the tilted axis. Can you see each place on the earth has what? Each place on earth, can I say they have equal day, equal night, equal day, equal night, equal day, equal night. Even the North Pole, equal day and equal night, equal day and equal night. ठीक है, एक काम करें, एक एक करके करते हैं. Let's first understand rotation. What did I say? I said that the earth is involved in two basic movement, rotation and revolution. Rotation is on the axis, we all understand this. The rotation takes place around 24 hours. Then we said there is revolution. The revolution is along the tilted, the angle is maintained. It's like if this is the sun and the earth is revolving around the sun and this is 23.5 degree जिस पे rotation हो रहा है, again 23.5 degree जिस पे rotation हो रहा है, 23.5 degree जिस पे rotation हो रहा है, 23.5 degree जिस पे rotation हो रहा है. Does the tilt change? It is always maintained, right? No matter where the earth is, the tilt will always be maintained. If there is 23.5 degree tilt, there would be 23.5 degree tilt here, 23.5 degree tilt here, 23.5 degree tilt here. This maintenance of the angle of the tilt is called as axial parallelism. This is the axis. Axis is parallel, axis is parallel, axis is parallel, axis is parallel. This is parallel to this is parallel to this is parallel to this. You call this as axial parallelism or you call this as polarity. So what you have written, there are two basic movements, the annual revolution around the sun with inclination, there is an inclination, there is a tilt and there is polarity. That means the angle of the tilt is maintained. तो जहाँ पे ये लिखा है revolution, you've written revolution along inclination. Inclination means what? There is a tilt. Write tilt word there. Write the word tilt. There is revolution along the inclination called as tilt. And there is tilt and also write along inclination and polarity. What does the word polarity means? Polarity means that the angle of tilt is always maintained. Polarity means that the angle of tilt is maintained. What you need to appreciate is this thing. The angle of the tilt is always maintained. I will try to draw a figure and then you will understand better. See, this is your sun. This is your earth. Okay, this is the earth, earth, earth. The earth revolves on the tilted axis. The earth, yeah. The earth rotates on the tilted axis. The earth always rotates on the tilted axis. It is not like this. The earth is tilted. The globe always is tilted. So it rotates in the tilted axis. And no matter where the earth is in its annual journey, कहीं पे भी हो, suppose मार्च में यहाँ पे है, सितंबर में यहाँ पे है, सितंबर यहाँ पे है, जून पे it's here, दिसंबर में it is here. Suppose at March it is here, suppose at June it is there, suppose at September it is here, suppose at December it is here. It completes one revolution in 1 year, right? From March to June to September to December to again March, March to June to September to December. So Earth completes one revolution in 1 year. No matter whatever the season is, the angle of the tilt is always maintained. So what do you say? That the earth revolves around the sun in an inclination, in a tilt, and the tilt is always maintained. The tilt is always maintained. That means the angle is always maintained. This maintenance of the tilt, this tilt is parallel to this tilt is parallel to this tilt is parallel to this. Parallel are the two lines that they don't meet. So this is called as what? Axial. Axis is parallel, axial parallelism, or you can also call it as polarity. Anything you can call it as polarity or axial parallelism. ये appreciate कर रहे हैं कि the earth is rotating like this, the earth is revolving like this. The earth is rotating like this and the earth is revolving like this. Are you able to appreciate this? There is rotation as well as revolution that is going on. There is rotation and the revolution that is going on. Now what happens? Because of rotation, you will have day and night. One part will be near the sun. One part will be near the sun, it will have day. One part will be away, it will have night. One part will be near, it will have day. One part will be away, it will have night. One part will be near, one part will be away. One part will be near, one part will be away. So this part which is near the sun, this part which is away from the sun, this line is called as what? Circle of illumination. Circle of illumination. Circle of illumination means a circle which is separating the litted part from the unlit part. ठीक है? There is a circle which is separating the litted part from the unlit part. तो ये जो होता है ये हमेशा टिल्ट के साथ कोइंसाइड नहीं करता है. ये हमेशा टिल्ट के साथ कोइंसाइड नहीं करता है. We'll see this tomorrow in a great detail. For today, just write rotation. Just write rotation, and then we can write. Give the heading Earth's rotation. Earth's rotation. First, the Earth rotates. The Earth rotates. The Earth rotates within time period of 24 hours. The Earth rotates within the time period of 24 hours. The rotation is west to east. The rotation is west to east. The rotation is west to east. Okay, right? The tilt of rotation is 23.5 degree. 23.5 degree perpendicular. 23.5 degree from the perpendicular. To the plane of elliptic. Okay. Now let's understand this once. So let's say this is your sun, okay, and the earth is moving, the earth is revolving around the sun in a elliptical. This is this plane, okay, this plane is in this plane, this moving, it is revolving. You call this as what? You call this as elliptical plane. जिसमें rotate कर रहा है या orbit कर रहा है उसको क्या बोलते हो? Orbital plane. It is orbiting around a orbital plane. So this is the sun. The earth is moving in a plane. Can you see a plane? There is a plane. You call this plane as what? Orbital plane or the elliptical plane. The earth is moving in a plane called as elliptical plane or the orbital plane. There is a plane which is called as orbital plane. Now how is the tilt? This is the plane. How is the tilt? If this is the plane, if I draw perpendicular to a plane, the tilt is what? The tilt is 23.5 to what? 23.5 degree to the perpendicular drawn to what? To the to the orbital plane. So if this is the orbital plane, okay, you draw perpendicular to the orbital plane. This was the orbital plane. This is the orbital plane. Can you see? Can I say this is the orbital plane? This one? ये समझ आ रहा है? Orbital plane. Is the orbital plane horizontal? Can I say this is the orbital plane? I draw perpendicular to the orbital plane and then I do 23.5. So how does the earth rotate? In this direction. It is rotating. So how is the earth rotating? There is a elliptical plane. In the elliptical plane, I am drawing a perpendicular. From the perpendicular, I am drawing 23.5. And this is how your earth actually rotates. This is my earth. So I have what? I have a north pole here and I have a south pole here. Always have you seen the globe is like kept like this? Why? What is it showing? It's showing the tilt. It is never shown like this. It would have been so easy if we could have kept the globe like this. We keep the globe like this because your earth is like this. The tilt is like this. This is the yellow color is your entire. The yellow color is your entire. Okay. So how is the earth rotating? It is rotating at an angle of 23.5. It is rotating at an angle of 23.5 drawn to the perpendicular to the orbital plane. So that's what we've written. The tilt of axis is 23.5 from the line perpendicular to the plane of elliptic. In bracket you can write orbital plane. Orbital plane. ठीक है? Okay. So please draw this figure. Please draw this figure. Draw a sun. Draw a sun in between. Draw a sun in between. Draw it with me. How many of you don't like drawing? Please raise your hand. How many of you don't like drawing? Okay. We'll have to learn. How many of you don't know how to draw world map? Okay. How many of you don't know how to draw India map? India map सबको आता है, world नहीं आता है. ठीक है, we'll see. But you will have to draw. जो inhibition है drawing का, you will have to remove the inhibition from drawing. So I'll check your copies. How many of you don't like to draw? You raised your hand. You raised your hand and you raised your hand. ठीक, fine. So sun, draw sun. Draw elliptic path. Draw a ecliptic. Sorry, it's not elliptic. I'm saying elliptic. It's an ecliptic path. I hope you've written the ECLIPTIC. वो ecliptic है. मैं elliptic कह रही हूँ. Ecliptic. It's eclipse, right? Ecliptic. जहाँ पे लिखा है ना Earth's rotation. क्या लिखा है Earth's rotation? Can you please show me this? No, there are the Earth's rotation. The Earth rotates within the time period of 24 hours. The rotation is west to east. The tilt of the rotation is 23.5 from the perpendicular to the plane of ecliptic. It is ecliptic. ECLIPTIC. ठीक है. This is your sun. You have a ecliptic plane like this. ECLIPTIC. Ecliptic. So here you can draw your earth. Here you can draw your earth. So it actually moves like this. It is actually moving like this. ठीक है, बनाओ. And then you also draw this one. And then you also draw a ecliptic plane. Draw a perpendicular to ecliptic. Ecliptic plane. This is your perpendicular to ecliptic. Draw 23.5 degree tilt. 23.5 degree tilt. And then and show a south pole and show a north pole. It should be in somewhere between. बनाया, बन गया, शो। ठीक है, शो मी yours. You can keep some gap between the drawing and the writing part. पहले का किया है? You had issue, show. ठीक है, fine. At least pen तो चला. Fine. So this is your rotation. What we'll do is we'll start off with rotation. We'll start off with revolution. Don't miss the first session, please, because there have been questions that have asked from rotation as late as 2022. They have asked question on solar system. There are two parts. One is understanding the term. The other is understanding the basic movement, rotation and revolution. Rotation is important to understand because you will understand what is Coriolis force. For Coriolis force is important. One more thing, don't miss your geography classes. If you miss one session in between, the linkage, geography is about linkage. तो बीच में कोई session miss किया, तो फिर बाद में you will scratch your head that what happened. So if you are, even if you are missing a session, at least be sincere enough to take the notes. Suppose there is an emergency, कोई emergency, पहले तो don't miss the session. Second, in case there is an emergency, be sincere enough to take the notes because geography is about link. Coriolis force that I teach today will be linked to your winds. The Coriolis force is linked to your other important ocean currents. ठीक है, Coriolis force is affected because of the rotation. So rotation will be used in winds. Rotation will be used in this thing. So don't try to miss your classes. If case there is an emergency, please be sincere enough to take the notes and study on the same day itself, right? So this is we'll start off with rotation. The first part, solar system mein there are two things. One is understanding the terms. In terms there have been 3 to 4 questions. We saw pole star, you saw comets, you will see singularity, solar flare pe they have asked the question, and the other is related to the movement of the earth, the earth's movement, rotation and revolution. Especially they have asked about seasons. They have asked about the place where the sun is while the earth is revolving. They have asked about 4 questions on rotation as late as 2022. तो seasons पे questions आते हैं, उसके लिए first half मत miss करना because I'll be covering then, and then we'll start off with geological time scale and we'll start off with geomorphology tomorrow itself. We'll start off with geomorphology tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the revolution part, seasons part, then we'll move on to the geological time scale. Geological time scale is something that is the time scale for geography, like you have a time scale for history, ठीक है, जिसमें इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन भूल जाते हो, ठीक है, तो वैसे ही टाइम स्केल है फॉर ज्योग्राफी. योर हाउ डज ज्योग्राफी, व्हाट आर द फेजेस दैट हैज टेकन प्लेस इन ज्योग्राफी. देन विल स्टार्ट ऑफ विद जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी, द इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ, द रॉक्स एंड द अदर थिंग्स, ठीक है. सो दिस इज फ्रॉम माय साइड फॉर टुडे. थैंक यू फॉर बीइंग सो पेशेंट. जो भी लग रहा है स्पीड का प्रॉब्लम, राइटिंग स्पीड का प्रॉब्लम, लैंग्वेज का प्रॉब्लम, डिक्शन का प्रॉब्लम, प्लीज लेट मी नो, ठीक है, so that I can pace accordingly, right? So thank you so much from my side. This is for today. Thank you.